Okay, I figure it's about time I didn't mean to do some comic stuff anyway, so I figure it's time I actually stuck my toe in this whole Wonder Woman thing. I've made a few comments here and there, but I think do it on my own. I'm also going to be doing the first actual drawing I've done of anything particular in literally years. Yeah, so, first, let's take a look at this piece of artwork for Wonder Woman on this thing up. And I'm going to throw it up here. Up. I mean, the gal has come out and said that this is actually an alien inspired by Wonder Woman. So that probably gives some wiggle room for the totally idiotic proportions here. Because it's got no realistic body type. There's nothing realistic about this body type. You'd be hard-pressed to find a gal with this big of hips. With those small boobs. And also, the legs seem a lot more extremely long, because where the hand falls in the thigh, this is not. I think we got here is one of these, so-called artists that didn't do any kind of, underlying structure here at all. For one thing, the muscles on the arm, they don't go together like that. And I think it's just starting straight for the final drawing here. Whereas, I think if you'd ever taken a figure drawing class, you start with kind of a stick figure thing and build up, which, we'll demonstrate here in a bit here, because I'm going to take a shot here at my own Wonder Woman drawing here. And mind you, I don't have a model standing anywhere. This is strictly there. And finally found a pencil, by the way, because I have pens out the wazoo, and you really don't want to start this with a pen. So let's just start here. Let's put the head about here. There. And you always start with a stick figure, really. Consider this your art lesson, guys. When you're doing this sort of thing, you start with a stick figure, because then you can keep it loose and you can fix proportions as you go along. And angle. The arm. Not there. There, and his hand about there. See, basically, you kind of want. There we go. You start off with that kind of thing there, because that way, as you're going, you start adding in the muscles. If you're where the knees are, and something, you can see where you kind of messed up. Whereas if you started straight off, just trying to draw it out straight and done, you're already too late in case you messed up something. So let's get, when you figure out where the spine is, what direction she's looking. And the boobs will be last, because but and get the general form down. Not in the front, because where I got it, there's no room for her feet, so I'm just going to go down here like that. And also think female characters, it's like, I'm saying about Gal Gadot, not being buff enough to Wonder Woman's a demigoddess, okay, so she doesn't have to be buff, I mean, she did work. There photos and videos of her working out to get ready for it, so she did a little bit, more. Not the rail thin, almost Kate Moss type thing she was when we first cast. She did work out some. She got into shape, but also remember, the gal was an instructor in the Israeli army. Okay, so she didn't really need to do much. One thing she knew, just combat training. She knew how to do that. And in a way, it's a little more impressive, you know, when a girl who's, you know, fit but not, you know, muscle bound picks up a tank and throws it at you. And then say someone like Gina Carano, because, you know, like he's already built like a tank anyway. A very good looking tank, but, you know. But his female form is generally not supposed to be all muscled up, so you got a little restraint on that. And I don't know how finished I'm going to make this here, because I'm going to. Boobage here. Let's give her some decent coverage here. I didn't quite get the head positioned right, so you know, at this stage I can still fix that. This Eisenberg, or whatever the hell her name is. I think she started off with a hair, you know. Because here we're at. Here's where I'm at so far on this. And already, you know, just the proportions. A little more there. And it's gonna. One of the things this does is it keeps you from focusing on, oh, I got the headset, and then you kind of lose sight of what the rest of the body's doing at the same time. So, right there. Belts. And part of I'm just zipping through this here because I'm probably going to finish this, at least not for a while. But I don't want to bore everyone to tears with, you know, this here.
You bore anyone? I don't think so.
In a situation like this, where it's just me scribbling on a pad, and I'm not really. And now I'm going to throw in some hair. And let's throw in the magic lasso here too. And that is basically the building blocks right there. And again, I haven't really. It's rather embarrassing, but I have not really done anything like this in literally years. But even there, you know, and I'm not sure I'd really want to submit that to DC as a submission because it's a, you know. So I can already see, even trying to finish it up, it's still got a lot of work, a lot of tweaking to do, but it's still, better proportion than this crap that this, supposedly indie artist. Because one of the things, when you're drawing the human figure, you better damn well know what the human figure looks like and how it all goes together. And I don't think this gal has the first clue of actual anatomy. Not on this guy. Because the thing is, I've seen some examples of her other artwork, and yeah, she can, she can do actual, better anatomy than what she showed here. But I wonder, if there may be some, tracing of existing artwork involved there. Maybe a little, looking at herself in the mirror and drawing what she sees, which, it does force you to do that. But it looks like this one was just, like I just did there, completely off the cuff, out of her own mind, and you can tell because, like I said, the proportions are totally turn, and the lunch is about ready. The proportions are totally nuts, and that usually happens when you're not working on any kind of like a foundation like that. That's what doing the stick figure thing is. It's setting down a foundation that you build the rest of the character on top of. And I used to be a lot better when I was doing it every day. Like I was working on my comics and working on my own comic book during lunch hour. No, I'm going to work to get back even to that level. And that was over 20 years ago. But, or about 20 years ago. But, no, over 20, I'm forgetting, 2020, so, good God, 30 years ago. But all right, fine, whatever. Anyway. But this one, just looking at it, one of these people is just starts drawing the finished figure right off the bat, and the thing is, you focus on get the head right, and then you get the ends, and you miss that. No, this doesn't match that. It's like you're putting together a jigsaw puzzle and using pieces of different puzzles. And that's why you get the ginormous heads and itty bitty titties, and the face I don't think was quite laid out right. And so yeah, and DC wonders why they're suddenly suffering major layoffs. When you put out crap like this, and yes, I'm sorry, yeah, she's done other stuff, that looks halfway competent, but this is not it. Even measured by her own stuff, this one is crap. It doesn't look like it was drawn by an adult artist. It looks like it was drawn by a 10-year-old. And I was doing better as a 10-year-old, frankly. And frankly, at 10 years old, the faces, it was like right out of South Park. I was just doing round heads, big eyes, no noses, It was quite a while before I actually started drawing real faces. But even then, I knew how to do proportions right. So yeah, I hear people say, "Oh, I feel sorry." If this is the current crop of people working at DC Comics, if not necessarily, she's not one of them because she's an indie brand. Just brought in as like Anna with their Vampirella cover. But if this is the editorial judgment at DC Comics, they deserved everything they got. They've driven off the actual talent. There's one of my Twitter replies on the thing about this. Posted a picture of John Burns, Wonder Woman. Say, I think you still have this guy's number, Or if you want, attention AT&T. You want to turn around DC Comics? Hire Jim Shooter. I think he's looking for a gig. And he's got a track record of turning these things like this around. I think you'll probably see a lot of older, experienced talent who know what the hell they're doing coming back to DC, Even if it's only, a piecemeal, independent contractor type thing. But you'll start getting some decent talent, even if he has to grow it himself. So, PayPal, Patreon, subscribe star down below, and later I'm doing a re-watching of Lower Decks, to hopefully keep everything out so I don't get copyright claimed. But I'm gonna do a little thing here and hopefully set a few things straight with what's going on with the lower decks, because a lot of the arguments I'm seeing, they're coming from a rather false premise that this is somehow Kurtzman track. Kurtzman has no involvement with this show. He's off working his Clarice thing and further aligning the franchise with Discovery and the dreams of a second season of Picard. But Lower Decks, he's not involved. It's only his name on the platoon of executive producers are only there because it has to go through Secret Hideout for probably financing. But creatively, he's got nothing to do with it. So we need to take this show on its own terms. It's not a part of the Kurtzman Trek universe. That's what I said with the use of that classic Star Trek font. That's one indicator. And also the fact that you have so much stuff there that is right out of Next Gen. The ship designs, the ship's interiors, the sound effects, the technology, Kurtzman wouldn't stand for that. He was actually in charge. He'd change everything. So McMahon is not interested in merchandising this show for his own appeal. Just the characters maybe. So if dislike, despise the show, but let's do it on its own terms, okay? Let's take it on its own thing, okay? So, we'll talk at you later.
Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Well, the plan is ignored. Action is reward to him. Like it's a great big bang up. Whenever there's a hang up, you'll find a spider.